Hey there. So, if you're an associate project manager apprentice and you're maybe staring at the K19 standard, the one on configuration management and change control, well, this one's definitely for you. I know, it sounds super technical, maybe a little dry, but stick with me and I promise we're gonna lay out a super clear roadmap to help you absolutely nail it. Let's get into it.
All right, here's how we're gonna do this. We're gonna follow the story of an apprentice, just like you, named Jody. We'll start with her initial challenge, see how she gets a handle on the fundamentals, and then watch her actually apply them. After that, we'll dive into how she builds her evidence portfolio for Aptum, and then the grand finale, getting ready to ace that final assessment. Sound good? Let's go.
So let's meet Jody. She's a level 4 apprentice over at a company called Iva Stores. Things are going well, but her marketing manager, Rital, has just dropped a brand new and a little bit scary project right in her lap.
And there it is, the real-world problem. See, Rital knows that without a proper system, projects can just descend into chaos. You get new requests flying in from everywhere, deadlines start slipping, budgets get completely blown. This isn't just some made-up task. This is the absolute heart of K19. It's all about bringing some much-needed order to the beautiful mess of a project. This is pretty much Jody's immediate thought. And let's be honest, it's a feeling a lot of us have had, right? You see these terms in your apprenticeship standard and you just think, what are they really? Like, what do they actually mean and how am I supposed to start doing this stuff? It can feel totally overwhelming, but that's exactly why we're gonna break it all down.
So Jody's feeling a little lost. And what does a smart apprentice do? They ask for help. So she goes to her mentor, Adam. Now, Adam is great at taking these big, kind of abstract ideas and making them simple, practical, and most importantly, understandable. And boom, this analogy just makes it all click. Seriously, think about it. You're baking a complicated cake. Configuration management, that's your master recipe card. It tells you exactly what you need. 200 grams of this, 3 of that, every single component listed out perfectly. And change control, well, that's the formal process you follow when someone says, hey, what if we used honey instead of sugar? You don't just wing it, you stop, you think, and you figure out exactly how that swap is going to affect the taste, the texture, the whole cake. Okay, so let's get a little more official with it. Configuration management is that master system we're talking about. It's really all about identifying every single piece of your project. We're talking documents, code, designs, the whole shebang, and keeping a super precise record of them. It's how you make sure everyone on your team is working from the exact same, up-to-date recipe.
Right. And change control is the rule book that lives inside that system. It's the how behind managing any change someone wants to make. Trust me, this formal process is your #1 defense against what we call scope creep. All those little uncontrolled additions that can quietly sabotage your timeline and your budget. This is how you protect your project.
And the process itself? It's really just common sense when you lay it out. It all starts with step 1, a formal request gets submitted. Can't do anything without that. Then you move to step 2, and this is so important. You perform an impact analysis. What's the ripple effect going to be? Step 3 is decision time. Is it a go or a no-go? If it gets approved, you head to step 4, and you actually do the thing. And finally, and please don't ever skip this one, step 5 is to document and communicate absolutely everything. That way, every single step is clear and you can trace it all back.
So, who actually makes that big approve or reject decision? Well, a lot of the time, it's a group called the Change Control Board, or CCB for short. Think of them as the project's gatekeepers. They're a designated group of key stakeholders who look at that impact analysis and decide if a change is actually good for the project or if it's just a distraction.
Okay, so Jody's got the theory down pat. She understands the recipe. She gets the rule book. But look, theory is pretty useless if you don't practice it. So now we're going to see how she turns all that head knowledge into a real, actual skill she can use.
So Adam, her mentor, sets up a simulation for her. This is brilliant because it's a totally safe space to practice without messing with the real project. She gets to walk through the entire change control process from the moment a request comes in to seeing it all the way through. This is exactly the kind of hands-on exercise your training provider wants you to be doing. Now, the most critical part of this whole simulation is the impact analysis. This is where Jody has to really put on her project manager hat. So a request comes in to, say, add a new video banner to the homepage. She doesn't just say, sure, no way. She starts asking these really important questions. Is this going to push our launch date back? Do we even have money in the budget for a videographer? Is this thing going to slow down the website?
This analysis, this is the real work of effective change control.
So Jody's practiced the skill. She's feeling more confident. But now comes the next vital phase for any apprentice. You've got to prove it. So she meets with her coach, Olivia, and Olivia's whole job is to help Jody translate all that great work into the kind of evidence that Aptum and the assessors are looking for.
Olivia's words here are absolute gold. Listen, for your apprenticeship, doing the work is only half the job. The other half is carefully, meticulously documenting it so you can prove you know what you're doing. You have to create this crystal clear trail of evidence that shows you don't just understand K19 in theory, you can actually apply it in practice.
Think of this table as your ultimate K19 evidence checklist. You're going to need a configuration management plan that shows you can think strategically. You'll need some completed change request forms to show you can actually follow the process. Minutes from a CCB meeting, that proves you can handle communicating with stakeholders. And of course, a reflection report shows you can think critically about how things went. Each piece tells a crucial part of your story.
Let's just zero in on one perfect piece of evidence for a second. A single, well-filled-out change request form is so powerful. Why? Because it shows the whole journey. The initial request, your detailed impact analysis covering the scope, time, and cost, and then the final decision from the board. It basically shows an assessor your entire thought process on one page. It's fantastic.
Okay, with a really strong portfolio of evidence in her back pocket, Jody is almost at the finish line. The last big step is the endpoint assessment, the EPA. This is where she'll have to talk about her experiences and prove she knows her stuff in a professional discussion or presentation.
This is such a classic EPA question. And notice, it's not asking you to just define something. It's asking for a story, your story. They want to hear how you actually applied all this stuff in the real world. So, take a second. How would you answer that?
The absolute best way to structure your answer is to use the STAR method. It gives your story a clear, logical flow that assessors just love. Start with the S, situation. Well, I was working on the Ibis Store's new website project. Then the task. A key stakeholder requested we add a major new feature late in the development cycle. Then the action. So I initiated our formal change control process, documented the request, and then performed a full impact analysis. You see where this is going? Finally, the result. The CCB decided to reject the change for now, but we scheduled it for phase 2. I learned just how important it is to protect the project's scope. It's just so clear, concise, and really powerful.
So, when it's all said and done, what does it really mean to be gateway ready for your EPA? It means you can do all of this stuff on your own. You're not just following a checklist anymore. You're confidently using these processes and tools to manage your projects, control any changes that come up, and keep everyone in the loop.
So we've walked with Jody all the way from confusion to real competence. And now you have the exact same framework. You get the concepts, you've seen the practical steps, you know what evidence you need, and you have a technique to talk about it all. K19 isn't just some random code you have to pass, it's a fundamental skill for any great project manager. The only question left is, what change are you going to lead first? Thanks for watching.